Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and if you're new here, hello. My name is Ashley. I run things here at Ocrogal. I'm very excited, but I'm very overwhelmed by today's video. Today we're going to be talking all about Aulani, which is a Disney resort on Oahu in Hawaii, and our experience, my family's experience traveling there last month. If you're not new to my channel, you've heard me talk about this video for a while now. It's taken me a while to film because y'all know, I'm very type A, I'm a Virgo. Like, I wanted to have all my ducks in a row. I wanted to have notes and everything planned out in an orderly fashion of what I want to talk about. I didn't want to miss anything. I'm sure I will. If you've been there and I missed something, drop it in the comments. But I really wanted to do this video justice for that reason. Like, I wanted it to be like an actual, really like thought out, well put together video. But also because spoiler alert, we loved our experience there. And so I did feel this kind of pressure of like really wanting to hit home how our experience was, and really highlight the reasons or the things that make Aulani so special. My assumption is that this is gonna be a long one today, so have a seat, grab a beverage. I'm drinking a Blue Moon, and let's just go to Hawaii together. Let's travel there together and let's chat all things Aulani. So like I said, I really tried to format this in a way that made sense to me. I hope that it makes sense to you. A lot of you guys wanted to see this video when I brought up possibly filming something like this when we got back from our vacation. So many of you were interested. And so I'm really hoping that it makes sense to me on paper, and I hope it translates in video format. So we traveled to Aulani in mid-May. We were gone from May 10th to May 17th. The whole reason that we were going was because my husband and I were celebrating our 10-year anniversary, which wasn't until June, but we chose to go in May. This was a trip we had been saving for. We hadn't specifically been saving for Aulani or for Hawaii. We just knew we wanted to take a huge trip. Pre-COVID, we wanted to do Europe. We wanted to go to Paris. We wanted to do Disneyland Paris, and then kind of just like travel all over the place. Obviously the pandemic hit, and that we knew that wasn't going to be an option. So we really had to decide, do we want to wait possibly until like 2022 or later in 2021, or do we want to kind of pivot and find somewhere else that would kind of be equally as a once in a lifetime vacation? And that's what we decided to do. After doing a ton of research, watching YouTube videos, obviously going on the Aulani website, we settled, well, I shouldn't say we settled, we chose, we were not settling, but you know, it wasn't like, we have not for years been planning to go to Aulani. We had for a year or two been planning to go to Europe. So we chose to go to Aulani, and honestly, there wasn't even like a moment where we were looking at other resorts on Hawaii or other hotels. We kind of just naturally were drawn to going there, kind of pivoting from Disneyland Paris. Then we were like, what other, like, are there other Disney things? Like, I don't know, it just kind of like naturally took us there. And so we ended up going in mid-May, like I said, and when we made our reservation, they were having a deal, which they are still having through like October, beginning of October. They were having a deal where if you booked 5 or more nights, you got 30% off your entire stay, which was like, what? And when we booked that, this was also the reason we went in May and not in June, when our 10-year anniversary actually is. When we booked that, it was only lasting until June, and then they bumped it. Now it's, you know, till October. I don't have the exact amount that we spent, like how much the rate was per night, but I know total we spent $3,500 on the hotel. So that includes taxes and fees. So for 7 nights, you know, it was around 500-ish. The per night rate would probably be a little less than that because, you know, when you see that, ooh, $470 a night, like taxes are not included. But just to kind of give you like an idea of what we paid, and if you do, you know, make a similar stay where you get that 30% off, I'm sure that's a promotion that they'll be running past October. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a what is it, fortune teller? I was gonna say mind reader. I'm not a fortune teller, but it's possible that they continue to run that promotion. That was the deal that we got. One thing to remember about Aulani, if you're kind of shell-shocked by the sticker price, is that they do not charge any resort fees, which is kind of nuts because I feel like they could get away with it. I feel like based on the grounds, everything that's offered at the resort, I think they could totally get away with charging resort fees, but they don't. So you kind of have to keep that in mind when you are seeing that per night cost. You're not being charged an extra 50 bucks a night for a resort fee. Aulani is located on Oahu, and it is about a 25-minute drive from the airport. Speaking of airport, this triggered something in my brain. Obviously when we went, COVID was like still a thing. So I'm not going to be touching on like the different requirements that we had to do and everything to travel to Hawaii, because I feel like now that we are, you know, coming out of at least the very strict rules and lockdowns and stuff like that, I feel like things could easily be changing. I am going to highlight kind of COVID wise what was different about our stay, but I'm not going to be talking about like all the different hoops we had to jump through to get there. So it's about a 25-minute drive. I have been to Hawaii prior to this 3 times. I've never been to Oahu. I've been to Maui twice and to Kauai. And I've never been to Oahu, so that was a little different for me. I should also say that we did not go to see Oahu. Like, we would have gone to, you know, Joe Schmo Island if Aulani was on it. We were going strictly for the Aulani experience and strictly for enjoying anything and everything that was at the resort. We literally had one planned outing and one planned like kind of restaurant food that we wanted, or special like popular food on Oahu that we wanted to get. But other than those 2 things, we were like this because you're spending so much on staying at this resort. Why not stay at the resort? That was our plan. That's what we did. When we first got there and we were driving to the resort, it was a little bit of culture shock a little bit because I am used to different islands in Hawaii, and Oahu is just different. Like, it was a little bit more, how do I want to say this? Like, there were like a lot more high rises. It was a little bit more commercial. And then even driving on the freeway, like I don't want to say like, I don't want to say it like looked dirty, because it didn't look dirty, but it is not this like palatial, you know, drive when you're getting to the resort. It's not palm trees and beautiful lush greenery and things of that nature. However, once you exit the exit to Aulani, it is like you're in a completely different world. Now, this particular exit also takes you to the Four Seasons, and I think there are a handful of other resorts. So they obviously had that in mind when like tending to landscaping and stuff. But as soon as you exit, it is everything you want in your Hawaiian dreams and more. So like I said, the Four Seasons is kind of the other more well-known hotel that is very close to Aulani. I'm sure there are other resorts in that vicinity. I was not made aware of them, so I can only speak to that. I know that the Four Seasons is right there. There's also right across the street, and it's such a beautiful, quick walk. There's a huge like shopping center. There's an ABC store, I believe, which is basically just like your general store. They have everything: food, wine, sunglasses, souvenirs, toiletries, anything and everything you can think of. There's one of those. There's a Monkey Pod restaurant, which is a delicious like local Hawaiian restaurant. I had been to the one on Maui before, and it's fantastic. There's an ice cream place. There's a coffee shop. There's it's a very nicely laid out little kind of shopping center, so that if you forgot anything, if you don't want to eat at the hotel or whatever, and you just want something quick and easy and accessible, it's like right there. You do have to pay for parking when you're there, and it's hefty. I think total, I can't remember how much it was. I want to say it was about $30 a night. So it's expensive. It's expensive to park your car. And we even said, like, after the fact, we were like, oh, we probably didn't really need a car. Like, we did have those kind of 2 excursions that we went on, but other than that, the car just kind of sat there in the parking garage. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. When you get there, I mean, it is just... I'm gonna scooch because I know I'm gonna be putting up like a ton of pictures right here, starting at this point in the video, because this is when I'm really gonna be talking about the resort. When you get there, the decor is just, it is themed through and through. And one of the things I'm gonna kind of be touching on a lot in this video is the fact that I feel like when people hear Disney, they think like kiddish, they think like chaos, bright colors, characters everywhere. And while there are definitely things when it comes to the decor that are appealing to children, it is not, you don't walk in and you're like, we're at a Disney Kids hotel. No, it is a resort. And it is just, like I said, it is just themed to the nines, top to bottom. Beautiful architecture. There are 2 different buildings that they have, 2 different buildings that house, you know, rooms, and it is just, I just feel like it's that typical Disney kind of thought process put into reality. If you know, if you're a Disney fan, you know all about like Imagineering and things like that. And I mean, this is not just like, let's slap up a hotel and then call it a day. I mean, the amount of attention to detail, the even just the colors that you see when you walk in, really knocked my socks off. I literally wrote here, themed to perfection, and I still concur with that. It's definitely like a Polynesian vibe, a Hawaiian vibe, without feeling super dated, without feeling super modern, without feeling kiddish. Like, it's Disney just nails it. Like, Disney knows what they do right, and that is something that they do right. Themed hotels. I've stayed in so many different Disney hotels, and this one is definitely above and beyond the others, but still carries through that kind of Disney consistency when it comes to decor. Our room that we stayed in was an ocean view room, partial ocean view, excuse me, a partial ocean view room. I will be inserting pictures. I took like many pictures in the hotel. I think I might have even taken a video. So whatever I have, I will put up. But we had the partial ocean view room, which was, if I can remember this correctly, it was basically the 3rd like option in terms of pricing. Like, so the cheapest one was like, I don't even know what it was, like parking lot view or like, so, you know, something. And then there was a garden view, I think, and then the pool view and the partial ocean view were the same price, and then you go into like the suites and the full ocean view and everything. We had a beautiful view outside of our balcony. It was true to what they said. It was partial ocean. We had a little bit of a view of the parking lot, but we were on like the, excuse me, I think there are 17 floors and we were on the 15th. We were 2 floors from the top, so we were high enough to where we weren't just like staring at a parking lot. Absolutely beautiful, huge balcony outside, and the restaurant and that whole shopping center, the Monkey Pod restaurant and the shopping center, were to the right of us, and Monkey Pod would have live music almost every night, so it was really nice to like go out, sit on the balcony with a glass of wine. You can hear the live like Hawaiian music. It was just the best. Our room had a king bed and then a couch that turned into a bed, which is what Daisy slept on. The bathroom was large and in charge. It was perfect. It was the perfect size. I felt like we had space for everything. Again, we were there for 7 nights, 8 days. So we, you know, this was not like living out of a suitcase. Like we unpacked, we put stuff in drawers, we put stuff in the bathroom. The bathtub was fantastic. My husband and I both enjoy taking baths, so it was a nice deep tub, a waterfall shower head, and I believe it also had one coming like out of the wall. Literally my only complaint about the room was that there's no microwave. That drove me a little bonkers. Because you are paying, when you're eating resort food, you're paying a lot. And especially if you're traveling with a child, like we did, a 4-year-old, they don't eat a lot. A lot of the time they don't finish their food, right? But you can't really take chicken fingers back to your room when you can't reheat them. So that's my only complaint, is that there was no microwave. There are microwaves if you get like a suite or a villa, or if you do the Disney Vacation Club, those rooms have microwaves. We only had a refrigerator. Okay, now we're getting into the fun stuff. So I've kind of broken this down into like a water section. We're gonna talk about like pools, beach, all that jazz, food, and then like where I talk about the restaurants and stuff, and then everything to do at the resort. And then we'll kind of wrap it up at the end with kind of like my overall experience, and then where you should look if you want to be more informed and get some more information about Aulani. So water. One thing that I love that they did was every day, if you planned to go to the pool or the beach, you had to go to, I guess it's kind of a kiosk, but you basically go to this like kiosk thing. There were 2 of them in the pool area, and you have to get a wristband. Every day it's a different color, and the reason for that is so that they know, okay, they are staying at Aulani, they get to use the pools. Again, I'm gonna say this a lot too, like it's not cheap. It's not cheap to stay here, and if I'm paying what we paid, I don't want someone to be able to like come in off of the beach and enjoy the pool, or the beach is a private beach. Like I don't want some random person to like park and then oh, we could use this like beautiful beach where there's no people because it's private. No. So that's why you have to have the wristband. Adults, kids, everyone has to get a wristband every day if you want to enjoy any of the water activities. So at Aulani they have 3 different pools. They have a very large pool, which is kind of where a lot of the kids hang out. I felt like that was more of like the family pool. And they have that. Then they have another pool that is, do they call it like a waterfall? It's like or infinity pool? I don't know what they call it, but it's like where the water kind of goes off the edge and it looks like it's like going forever, which was really nice. And that has like a little cave. You can like swim into the little cave area, and there's like benches built in. And then they have a 3rd pool, which normally is the adult only pool, and it's right by the bar, which is perfect. It's usually the adults only pool, but because of COVID, they opened that up to all ages, obviously, so that there could be, you know, more distance in between people, whole nother place for everyone to go. So they have 3 pools, and then they have 4 jacuzzis. 4 jacuzzis, one of which is adults only, and that didn't change with COVID. Like that was still 18 and up. Was that one jacuzzi. There is a lazy river. They provide you with a single inner tube, or there's also a double inner tube. You can just float around and be lazy. There are different like waterfalls as you go through, and sometimes there's like water shooting out of different things. And then there are 2 water slides. There's one where you don't use an inner tube, it's just like a body slide, and then another one where you can go in the double or in the single tube. The beach. So the beach is a private beach. It is shared with the Four Seasons, but there is like kind of it's like a rope that kind of divides the 2. So the Four Seasons people kind of stay over there, the Aulani people stay over here. And it is just, I mean, all of this is amazing. I can't explain to you how much we enjoyed our time there. I feel like I didn't even talk about how much I liked the pools, but just everything from top to bottom. The beach was my personal favorite because the previous times that I have been to Hawaii, specifically the last time we went in October of 2018, we went to Maui, and we went with my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, my niece and nephews, and they kind of liked bouncing around and driving to different beaches, which I didn't mind, but they're so busy. They're so busy. They're busy. The waves are really rough, and what I loved about this, and what you're getting for the price that you're paying, is that it's a private beach. It is not busy. It's not busy. It's not crazy. There's plenty of room for everyone. There's plenty of chairs. They have it, you know, they have like a rock barrier like way far out, so there's not crazy waves crashing. It's so calm. Daisy felt so comfortable just like being out there. Not on her own, like we were out there with her, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of times that can be scary, especially if it's like a new place, a new beach, and then it's like crazy waves coming. Like it was so nice to just like be in the water and be able to be relaxed. There is a section of the beach that doesn't belong to the Four Seasons, doesn't belong to Aulani, and I don't really know the story about that. I don't know. There was one day we were there and there was like a family of 6 in that area, so I'm not sure if I don't know if someone owns that section of beach or if the public can use that little part. But it wasn't like, oh, here's like the not very busy Four Seasons and then the not very busy Aulani, and then here's the public section that's like has a ton of people. No, so I'm not really sure like what that chunk of beach was. But I will tell you, like, if you are worried about getting the bang for your buck when it comes to enjoying the pools and enjoying the beach, that is not something you need to worry about. In terms of rentals, so life jackets for the kids, sand toys, and boogie boards are all free. So those are all completely free with your stay. Snorkel gear and stand-up paddle boards do come at a cost. I think they're like 20 or 25 bucks for the day. You can rent cabanas, you can rent the Casabellas, which are like the double like kind of loungers with like the half umbrella with like really nice like padded like cushions and stuff like that. They also just have like, you know, standard beach chairs and tables. What I also really like is that everything is like kind of like bolted down and like hooked together. Like I think it's because of the wind, honestly. I don't think it's because they're worried about like people are gonna like move them everywhere. But they literally like zip tie or something the little round tables in between each of the chairs, little chair sections, so that there's no moving stuff around. It's like, this is how it looks, pick where you want to sit, that's it. There's also, we're about to talk about food next, so this is a perfect, I just did this so perfectly. This is a perfect segue. There's full food service down at the beach and up at the pool starting at lunchtime. In terms of finding somewhere to sit, it was definitely trickier to find somewhere to sit at the pool versus the beach. The beach, there were constantly empty chairs, but the pool, like, you really got to get down there early if you're looking for a specific spot. If you want like a prime spot, maybe you want to be, you know, right in front of the, kind of like the kids playground area down at the pool, which I did not even talk about. I'll talk about that in a minute. Or if you want to be by the kind of like the family pool I was talking about, you got to get down there early. What we did for a lot of the days was we would start at the beach, and then Cernan, when we were like ready to move up to the pool, Cernan would go up and try to find chairs. And every time he did. Now, was it in maybe like the best spot? No. Did it always have an umbrella to shade us from the sun? No. But it was a chair. And then once he would text me and say, okay, I found a spot, Daisy and I would leave the beach and head up to the pool. So that really worked for us. If you're there with someone else and you can kind of tag team it, highly recommend. Hello friends, it's editing Ashley. I was gonna put this in text like on a slide, and I was like, no, I just need to talk about it. One thing I forgot to mention that I love that they do is they do not let you just like put your stuff on a beach chair, put your stuff on a set of pool chairs, and then leave. You cannot, you know, go down, oh, I'm gonna go down at 7 a.m., put our stuff on some chairs so that we have our spot, and then go back up to the room and come down a couple hours later. Oh, no, 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 no. They don't let you do that. So basically what they do, I don't know exactly how it works, but essentially they, if you have not been at your chair for a decent chunk of time, they either fold the towels that are on the chairs and put them on like the, you know, like a beach chair. They fold it and put it on the top part. If you don't have towels, they will go get towels and do that, because for them, for the workers, that's a sign that these people haven't been here a while, PSA. Then they wait a little bit longer, like I'm thinking it's like 45 minutes to an hour. And if you still haven't come back, they take your stuff. They take your stuff and to like a, I think they take it to like the community hall and you can go pick it up. I love that. Now, you know, that's over the span of like a couple hours. So there's really not a chance that you would never go back to your chair. I mean, obviously you're going to go back to either relax, dry off, you're done with the pool, you need to eat, the kids need to take a break, you need to grab some sunscreen. Like, of course you're going to go back and then they will know that those are your chairs and you're there. But I just think that that's so smart, because it would really be a buzzkill if everyone had the same idea. Everyone went down at, you know, 7:30 a.m. and reserved chairs, and then there was nothing left for anyone. The pool area opens at 8, so you can technically go down at that time to snag chairs. But none of this like, oh, we're you know, reserving chairs at the crack of dawn so that we have like the perfect spot, and then we're gonna go back up to the room for 4 hours and come back down because we got our spot. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, real quick before we get into food, there is a, oh, I don't even know what they call it, but I don't know the name of it. I think it's like Menehune something. It's basically a big playground in the water. There are little slides, there are things you climb up. There's about this much water like on the ground where this actual kind of structure is. It's basically just like a big playground structure in the water. Daisy loved playing in this. It's kind of like where all the kids are, or where a lot of the kids are. So it's easy for her to make friends, run around. I mean, the last day we were there, we like posted up right in front of it, and she was playing for like 3 hours in that one area. Fantastic spot if you want to relax, but you want your kid to get their yayas out and you want to be able to see them. You know, Daisy's only 4, so we were not really in the business of like chilling by the pool in our chairs and just like letting her go in the pool. But in this particular area, it was so easy to just sit there, know that she was safe, and be able to watch her. Okay, food. There are a lot of food options. There are a lot of food options at Aulani. What I want to start with is kind of how we cut costs when it came to food. So it's resort food, it's not cheap. And like I said, going with a 4-year-old who doesn't eat like their entire meal, and I'm not one of those parents that's like, you have to eat everything on your plate. I did think about, okay, how can we save a little bit of money here and there when it comes to eating? So what we did was there's a Target, like, I think it's like a 7-minute drive. We went to Target and we got breakfast food, snacks, and drinks. So I think we only paid for breakfast there like one day. We bought alcohol, we bought sparkling water for Daisy because that's her jam. Cernan loves Diet Coke, so we got that. I just got like the, you know, Frito-Lay snack bag, big pack of chips. We got some other treats, other just like snack things. Like the Frito-Lay chips are not things that I normally keep in the house, so I just got some like special like vacation snack things, so that we weren't always purchasing things, because that stuff adds up. And your hotel room key is your credit card. Like that is your swipe, swipe, swipe anytime you want something, and it's too easy, right? So that definitely helped. I mean, I don't even want to calculate if we would have paid for breakfast every single day, or snacks every single day, or alcohol. I mean, trust me, I got some fancy schmancy cocktails. Like, I was not going to miss out on that experience. Like, I wanted a legit pina colada. They have this like one called the Lava Flow. Like, I had done so much research, like I knew what drinks I wanted. But just in terms of like, I don't know, wanting to like bring a beer down to the pool or a hard seltzer or something, which like you're technically not supposed to do, but I would just put it in my like my like reusable Starbucks cup. That we're that kind of family, okay? So that was really I mean, really smart, but just really a money saver. So that's definitely one way to cut costs. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could also get like lunch stuff. You do have a refrigerator in your room, but it's on the smaller side. So, you know, you kind of have to weigh your options there. So in terms of restaurants, like I said, they have a ton. The Makahiki is like their kind of fancy schmancy restaurant. It pre-COVID was a buffet. I don't know at this current time what it is. When we went, basically what they did was they transformed it from a buffet into a very fancy, like 3-course meal situation, 3 or 4-course meal situation. I don't know which one. There were a lot of courses. We did have reservations there one night for dinner. It's right on a koi pond. It is just, the restaurant next door plays live music, so you kind of get that vibe too. And it was absolutely delicious, well worth every penny. And I would definitely recommend, if you're kind of looking for that traditional like resort experience and you want to go to like the best of the best restaurants that the resort has to offer, like that needs to be on your list. Next up is the Olelo room, which is the one right next to the Makahiki, and that is where they have the live music, and it's mainly cocktails and tapas. We loved this place. Like, we went twice, and the menu just really worked for us. They have sushi, they have fries, they have onion rings, they have, you know, it's like small bites kind of. Even the sushi is like a smaller portion, and it was also really nice just like having the live music there, and like you're in Hawaii. Like, for me, that restaurant screams vacation. Like, you feel like you're in Hawaii, you're looking out at the beautiful grounds. We haven't even gotten to that part. The fact that just where they have the pools is like beautiful is just like kind of mind-blowing, because I feel like sometimes at certain hotels or certain places, that's where it can maybe be kind of lackluster. But the greenery, the pools, the flowers, the walkways, everything is just absolutely stunning. So sitting at this restaurant, really, like, it's gonna sound corny, but like looking at the sky, looking at the trees, like it was just vacation in a nutshell. Off the Hook is a like more casual style restaurant they have. It's the same menu that is like the poolside menu. So like when a poolside server brings you over a menu, that's the same menu as Off the Hook. We ate there like in the actual restaurant the first day that we got there. So we were ravenous after our flight. We never ate there again, not for any particular reason. We didn't have a reason to eat there. But we did frequently order pool food, and that's the exact same menu. Burgers, hot dogs, fries, a handful of salads, kind of like the typical. They also have a bar inside of Off the Hook that you can order drinks from and then take out to the pool. The Ulu Cafe is kind of a combination of, it's a quick serve place, but it's a combination of both like things that you can just grab and go. I mean, everything. They have like prepackaged sandwiches, like kind of like how Starbucks has in their like display case. Prepackaged sandwiches, salads, wraps, burritos. Then they have a handful of things you can actually order and wait outside for, like, you know, things that actually need to be like cooked or warmed or whatever. Bags of chips, drinks, Dole Whip. You can get Dole Whip from that place. So it's kind of like a walk in, grab whatever you want, pay at the register, go type situation. That comes in really handy when you maybe don't have a snack on hand, or it's maybe like 3 o'clock, so lunch is over, but it's not dinner yet, and you just need something. That place is the perfect place to go. Mama's Snack Shop is kind of like a kiosk. I don't know why I keep saying that word, and I'm like, that's not the right word, but it's kind of just like a standalone quick serve place in the pool area. Pretty much all fried stuff. Fish and chips, chicken fingers, coconut shrimp, delicious. French fries, onion rings. If you don't want to wait for a pool server, or it's like a, I don't know, like again, like kind of like a funky time, maybe you can't track a server down, or you don't want the things that are at Off the Hook, you know, or from the Off the Hook menu, you want the things at Mama's Snack Shop. That's a great place to order from as well. 2 more places to mention. Papa Louis Shaved Ice is exactly what it says. It's a shaved ice, a little kiosk. It's right next to Mama's Snack Stop, and all of the shaved ice flavors of your dreams. And lastly, is it the Wailana? I think it's the Wailana Pool Bar. So this bar is right next to what is normally the adults only pool. Again, when we went, anyone could be there. And you can just go up and order whatever you want alcoholic beverage wise. Obviously if you want soda or something like that, they have that as well. But it's kind of, I just feel like it's the perfect balance of options, right? Like you have the pool servers, like when I'm thinking about beverages, right? You have the pool servers, you have Off the Hook where you can just like walk up to the bar and order something, and then you have this adults only bar. The only time we ever had to wait in line to order anything was at the shaved ice stand. Now, the Ulu Cafe, like the quick serve place, and the Mama's Snack Stop, like, yes, maybe we had to wait behind like 1 or 2 people, but like, I'm talking like a line of like 6 to 10 people. The shaved ice place, everywhere else was just like in and out. And I just think, again, that kind of harkens back to the genius of Disney. They know what they're doing. They've have resorts and hotels and theme parks all over the world, and it shows. Okay, so now we're gonna kind of just talk about like the various things that to do at the resort. So every day they come out with what's called a daily Iwa, and it's basically like the daily schedule. So if there's a certain event happening, character meet and greets that are going on, they list out the time, what character is doing the meet and greet, where it is, and they have screens kind of like all throughout the hotel that you can just walk up to and they show you. When we visited, they had more recently launched an app, like an Aulani app, and you could also get the Iwa on there. So if you're interested in like what's happening today, what's going on, like what's going on around the property, all of that is in that daily Iwa. They have a handful of things that were not available to us because of COVID. They have Auntie's Beach House, which is basically like childcare from ages 3 to 12. I have looked into it a lot and actually watched videos about it. Again, was not available when we were there, but there's a playground, they do activities. I mean, you know, it's a Disney, so like, it's not just like you drop your kids off and they're like watching a movie for 2 hours. Like, it is action-packed. So there's that. Then they also normally do a Mo'olelo fire pit storytelling. There are fire pits kind of down by the pool area, and they normally do kind of like, as the sun is setting, I believe, like a storytelling event. And then there's it's the Pauhana or Pauhana room, where it's basically kind of like a community center where you can play board games, you can do crafts, and like hang out with other people. And obviously because of COVID, that wasn't open as well. One thing that we paid to do was the luau. If it's within your budget, because it is not cheap. Cheap is relative, I'm well aware, but to me, it was not inexpensive. But if you can swing the luau, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Now, when we first booked our trip, the luau was not a thing. It was not open. It was still canceled because of COVID. And so we were looking into other options. And then I think it was maybe a month before we left, before, you know, it was time to go on our trip, that they said, okay, we're bringing the luau back. We're like, yes. So we were able to book the luau there. While it is not cheap, it is not crazy. It's not like so much more expensive than other luau's out there. Highly recommend. Amazing performances, amazing just food. Normally it's a buffet, but they did food in bento boxes, which is like genius. It's so smart to do it that way. We paid up a little bit and got like the preferred seating. All of the alcohol was included, which was really nice. And it's about 3 hours long. So for me, yeah, it's a pretty penny, but you get your money's worth. We absolutely loved it. Daisy loved it. You make a like flower lei when you're there, a flower bracelet. You get a special necklace. It's constant performances, singing, dancing, fire throwing, teaching you certain words in Hawaiian. Like, just the whole experience from start to finish. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting actual goosebumps right now because it was just amazing. All right, guys, you'll have to forgive me. Daisy is not feeling so hot. She went somewhere with Cernan and now they're back and she's not feeling great. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Fairly certain the last thing I was talking about was the luau. So other things that you can do at Aulani. They have a Menehune Adventure Trail. This is really neat. Daisy and I did this, I think it was the last night that we were there. You basically go to that community room that I was talking about with the games and all that jazz, even though you can't do that stuff. And you pick up a tablet, you pick up an iPad, and basically it's this whole story. You follow the directions, you go all around the resort, and there are different hidden things. So you might, you know, you listen to a story, answer a question, press the button, and like a light, a turtle like lights up on a rock. Or there was one part where a fire started in kind of this cave that we were at. Another one, you again, watch the story, press the button, and it was like water shooting out on people in the lazy river. So very neat, very like all for the kids. Like Daisy thought it was so cool. It's basically kind of like scavenger hunt type situation, and definitely just like a neat thing to do on a night where maybe you don't have a lot planned, because it is kind of long. You don't have to do the entire thing, but it's definitely, I think if you have kids, something worthwhile. Lastly, there are character experiences, like I mentioned. I think they were doing it in kind of a different location because of COVID when we were there. We didn't do any of the character experiences because we were so busy doing everything else at the resort. But you can meet, you know, Mickey and friends, take pictures, all that jazz, and then shopping. They have 2 or 3 stores there where you can buy all of your souvenir stuff. What I think is really cool is there are certain characters that, put a picture here, that are only like, they're basically exclusive to Aulani, and then I believe like Hong Kong and one other Disney location. Like you can't go to Disneyland and get a Duffy stuffed animal, or Ulu, I think, is the turtle. So that was really neat. We bought a lot of that stuff because that's, you know, super special and something that we can technically only get at Aulani or like 2 other locations in the world. So that was really neat. They have like kind of a less expensive store, kind of like your typical Disney souvenir shop, very reminiscent of like a smaller scale like Disney store, like a Disney store you would see in a mall. And then they do have like a pricier, fancier store where they have like jewelry and art, you know, Disney art and things like that. So our overall experience, we loved it so much, which is why we refuse to call it like once in a lifetime. It was absolutely amazing. It was I have been on really cool vacations in my life, but it checked all the boxes and it knocked all of those other ones kind of out of the water. There is something to be said, which this is a point whenever I have talked to like friends and family about our trip, this is a point that I like so hammer home, because there is something to be said for Disney hospitality. Whether they're happy or not, they might be faking it, we don't know. Everyone is in a great mood. You walk down the hallway, you walk outside down the pathway, the guy changing out the trash can, aloha. I mean, everyone is saying hi, everyone talks to you, everyone has a smile on their face. Everyone is there to really make this an experience. Not to make you happy. I mean, of course, that's kind of like a domino effect, right? But you can just tell that they're there to make this an experience for you. And I feel like you can't get that anywhere else. There's something incomparable when it comes to Disney hospitality, and we just really felt that on this trip. When we were initially going to go to Europe, it was just gonna be Cernan and I, and we were gonna leave Daisy here with my parents. And when we decided to go to Aulani, we were toying, I'm not gonna lie. We were toying with like, should we leave her here? Like it's a big celebration for us. It's, you know, 10 years being married. Should we take her? Should we leave her? We decided to take her because we kind of felt like that was the right thing to do. We were going somewhere like Disney related, you know, beach, water related, like it's just a kid's paradise, right? And it was really interesting because while we were there, we kept saying like, I mean, we had a blast with Daisy being there. I don't regret that at all. But we kept saying, like, if we would have come just him and I, like if it was just Cernan and I, it still would have been the best vacation, because it's not just some kiddie place. Like, of course there are kids playing and stuff, but it doesn't feel like a kids only resort or only families. No, not at all. If you are just a couple, now I do think that like you need to have some sort of like Disney appreciation, and like that needs to be an appeal to you. But I absolutely think just 2 adults or a group of friends or whatever going, it would have been just as fantastic if we had not taken Daisy. Now, we took Daisy and it was more fantastic because our kid was there. But y'all, you're picking up what I'm putting down. Like, you don't have to be a family, you don't have to have a child. If you like Disney, highly recommend. I'm really hoping that I was able to get all of my thoughts across, and I'm sure in editing I'm gonna like be putting in little blurbs here and there, because to remember everything would be a lot. But if you have any questions, or like I said in the beginning, if you've been to Aulani and you think I forgot something or you want to chime in, definitely leave it in the comment section. I also cannot recommend enough the channel Ordinary Adventures. They are a Disney, they do some stuff at Universal, but they're mainly like a Disney specific channel. Their Aulani videos sealed the deal for me. If you want to see an entire meal at the Olelo room, entire meal at the Makahiki, they have one video that's just all about the water stuff, all about the pools and the beaches. They have a whole Aulani playlist. They went in December of 2020, and that, for us, that was like, once we saw their videos, we were kind of on the fence. And then once we saw their videos, we were like, all right, like this is what we're doing. Highly recommend. I will leave their channel linked below, as well as their Aulani playlist. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this kind of shed some light on our trip that we just loved so much. I cannot wait to go back. Again, we're not calling it once in a lifetime, even though that's kind of what we had planned it to be. We're not, because we want to go back. We want to make it kind of like a tradition thing. Even if we can't go every year and we go every other year, every 5 years, like it just, it holds a place in my heart now. And that sounds like, I don't know, I feel like it sounds kind of silly because it's like a resort. But it meant a lot to us to spend a decent chunk of money. I'm not gonna lie, to spend a decent chunk of money to be just like Cernan, Daisy, and I, and have the time of our lives. I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop me a comment if you wish, and I will see you in my next one.